In this lesson, I'll take a model from Maya to Mudbox and back using the send to function. I'll use my eco here that I had put in a shirt in the earlier lesson. With his body selected, I'll go to File and Send to Mudbox, and I'll send it as a new scene. With one object selected, it goes automatically. With nothing selected, it will ask if I want to take the entire scene across. Looks like it had some minor issues in the FBX, but I think he came across okay. I'll hit A to focus on him. It also came in with the texture I had on it originally. That's fine, although I may want to add more. I'm going to start by repainting my eco. In the Paint tools in Mudbox, we'll go to the paint brush. I'm going to make this one a little more red. I'll start by just painting on the model. As long as it's got a good unwrap on it, this paint will go on nicely. Right now I'm painting on File 3. That's the file that came across with it. If I want to start with a clean paint, I can also right-click on that and delete it. Now when I'm ready to paint, I click on the model, and it asks, what's the name of that paint layer, what channel is it going to, how big is it, and what flavor is it? I'll hit OK to this and start to lay on the color. Initially, I'm going to put in a base color of this rusty orange, and then come back and add some highlights. I'll use the square bracket keys to upsize my brush, and paint him as quick as possible in the base coat. The eco is painted, and now I'm going to add some color highlights in. I'll click on the color, and in the color picker, add a little more yellow in. I think what I'll do is I'll give him a little bit of yellow on the belly, and a little bit more in his back. I can get some very subtle painting effects in here. I'll go a little brighter on the yellow. Zoom in, and downsize the brush for a little more detail. I think he'll have a little bit of yellow back here, a little bit of a yellow flash on his chest, and also on his fingertips. In most of the tools in Mudbox, we can mirror, so I'm going to mirror this across the x-axis. That way, as I paint one side, I get color on the other. I'll paint his feet as well, and you can see the doubled brushes. I can also do things like stamping and stenciling. For the eco here, I'll use a stamp of some black and white spots. As I click and drag, I start to paint through that stamp, and we can see the texture showing up. I can also use a projection, projecting with a stencil. Right now it's white, but I'll go back and change that color to give him some spots. I'm going to do some deep red spots and choose a stencil. I'll go over and find, here's elephant skin. This will work nicely. And as I project through, his spots come through in that pattern. I'll hit Q to hide it as well. Now I've just given him some rather odd texture here. I can always go in and undo this and lower the strength of that. Here in the projection, I'll take the strength way down. So instead of making giant fissures on him, I get some light shading. Q turns on the stencil, and I have controls available to rotate. And as I click and drag through, you can see I'm adding in detail on him through that. Okay, so I'm ready to take it back out to Maya. I'll hit Update in the bottom right of Mudbox. It'll send my entire scene, which is fine. And here he is, in place, with that texture applied, as I had painted it. I'll isolate it to show it a little better. So it's very handy to use this round trip as a link for sculpting, for painting, and also for animation. There's links in Maya to go to Motion Builder as well to bring in animation and mocap data.